welcome. This is From the Field Zone with Jason.
And Aaron,
Hi, and we'd like to talk to you about Dice Masters. Dice Masters is one of our favorite games. We've been playing it for how long now? About a year and a half,
around there.
around that. And we enjoy playing the game, but we also enjoy collecting the cards. And it turns out we enjoy talking about it too. We talk about it all the time.
Friends, family.
And we have some friends that play the game, so we talk to them, we talk to each other. And we thought we might share some of our thoughts with you and see what you guys think too. So, Aaron, tell us a little bit about why you like Dice Masters as a game.
Personally, I think Dice Masters is a great game. There are over 1,000 cards around there for you to choose from to make a team of 8. Um, and there's so many different possibilities to play the game, and that's why it's just an endless thing.
So you like making all the combos from all the different cards and things.
Definitely.
I like that too. I think one of the things I like about it is that you can come in and build that team, and you don't know how it's going to perform. You might do great, you might do poorly. So might your opponent because the dice are in there. It's not
Yes.
like other card games where whoever's got the best card wins. The best card sometimes loses
It's
because the dice don't come up the right way.
always random.
And so it gives you a shot at maybe winning even in tough situations. There's some ways to play around with that randomness. You can make yourself get some re-rolls, but every choice you make in this game means you're going to be choosing something over something else. And so you're going to do a re-roll over here, but that's not going to let you do any removal over here.
Yeah.
And so it's all about choices, trying those teams out and playing them. Well, good. All right. Well, we'd like to talk to you a little bit about some of the things we're excited about in the news coming up for Dice Masters. The next set out after this is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle set. It'll be a complete set all at once. I've seen the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cartoon. I've seen the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cartoon. I saw the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies, and now the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle reboot movie. They've got a sequel coming out with Rocksteady and Bebop. And oh, just eyes just went big. He hasn't seen the trailer yet.
Oh, I have
Oh, you
seen the
seen the
trailer.
trailer? You saw Rocksteady and Bebop. All
Yes,
right,
I actually saw it just yesterday.
just yesterday. Very cool. And so it's kind of an exciting all-in-one set. There won't be any collecting, any packs, everything. It'll all be together. It'll be interesting to see
Sadly.
what they do with that. Yeah, because we like actually collecting the packs and stuff too. This will be kind of a
It's
different
always
experience
fun
for
to
us.
just open the packs and see what you get.
So the
But
next packs that we're going to get to open after that, what's that going to be?
World's Finest.
I think Dungeons and Dragons is going to come out
Ah,
first,
I would
and
actually
then
prefer
World's
that though.
Finest. Yeah, so I think the second set of Dungeons and Dragons will come out next. So they're saying maybe February, and then World's Finest, which is DC, a lot of Batman and Superman coming out in March. Won't be surprised if some of that gets delayed because of the way WizKids kind of rolls things out. But right now, they're set for a January, February, March release for those 3 sets. Soon thereafter, Civil War for the Marvel sets, which will probably tie into the movies. So there'll be some new
Yeah.
movies next year with Batman versus Superman, the new Civil War, Captain America movie. They'll probably try to tie those in a little bit, though they've always been tied a little more to the comics universe than the movie throw but they do like to throw those tie-ins together. So those would be kind of exciting.
Mhm.
There's some events coming up that we're excited about. The Pro Dice Circuit is set up by a friend of ours named Joel, and he and a bunch of other people he got together around the country to set these up. Those are already firing off right now. The ones in our local area go off next month, and so we're gearing up our teams for that and practicing some with that. Right? Are you got a
Yes.
team you like yet, or are you still playing around?
Still playing around.
So there's a lot of, plus by the time our teams, our PDC events are out, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle set may be out, and that may change everything. We don't know even any of the cards are in there. Would they be reskins of old cards and won't affect things much, or are
That
they going to
would
be
be
very?
very terrible because it's like, WizKids is just, if they're, that's what they're doing. It's like, hey, instead of a brand new set, how about there's going to be a set with no packs and it's just a bunch of cards you already have.
It would be kind of disappointing. I wouldn't be surprised if they even did maybe a mix of that or something. So maybe it'll be all brand new cards and be some exciting things for the meta, but we'll be interested to see how that will affect our PDC planning.
I
And that turns out it's going to be the ramp up to the WizKids Open. The regionals start in March too, and so actually February. There's a date
very
in
huge.
February. Sorry, February, March going off in there. And so we're actually excited. There's a place about an hour and a half away from here that we're looking forward to going to in February. So we're going to be excited to see how that goes. So some exciting things coming up in the news, and we'll share some more with you on future episodes as things come out and more news comes out. But we just wanted to talk about some of the things we're excited about. The next thing we're going to go to is
Gravity feed box mistakes.
what? There's gravity feed box mistakes. Are you serious? I thought those were
That
all flawless.
it's WizKids.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Good point. I think the marketing department likes to throw a bunch of images from the cartoons and the comics, and then some of the initial art that they're getting on the cards. They're designing that stuff before all the final cards come out. The dice on there don't look always like pictures of dice. Instead, it looks like maybe CG representations,
Yes.
3D drawings of dice, and inevitably, and I almost start to think maybe intentionally, mistakes show up on there. And I'll tell you what, Aaron is great at finding these mistakes. Just when you think you're
I
safe,
have
he will find another one. So
3 gravity feed boxes. I found multiple mistakes
we're going to
on
feature some of
every
those
one.
on the future episodes. But show us the one from the newest set. What is this? The Amazing
The
Spider-Man.
Amazing Spider-Man gravity feed. So what's kind of weird about this one is that if you look closely,
Aaron, you're
or if you
talking
have
loud.
one of your own, there are no. If you look at the icons, it doesn't show the cost, and the energy type is faded. So it's not. So it's really not focusing about that.
Right. And so tell us about what you've noticed about Iron Spidey there.
Okay,
So
Iron
he's
Spidey.
got a yellow stripe, it looks like. Why is that special?
Iron Spidey actually has no rare. He has a common, an uncommon, and a super rare.
And so they put a rare card on there with no text. No text if you notice for any of those there,
Yes.
too. And there's not even a rare
There's
card
not
in that
even
set.
subtitles for any of them.
Right. So just kind of getting you a highlight of some of the art. But since they put the rarity stripe right on there, and then it turns out it's got a common, uncommon, and a red stripe super rare. Aaron thought that was kind of unique on that box there too. So and we'll show you some more of these in future episodes, but we wanted to bring that out here too.
But there's also actually a second mistake on the Iron Spidey. So it's dice. It's die, I guess. Um, it's the symbols are on there wrong. Um, so you can see it's level 1 and it's level 2 face. But they don't go side by side like that in the same direction. They're on almost two different halves of the die.
So that will.
They didn't
So when
really think about this at all.
they just had some of the faces of the die like that planned out, and they did it on their little CG representation, their 3D representation of the die, and didn't actually take a picture of a real die on there too. So that's another thing that came out. Again, the boxes are really just to kind of highlight some of the art that's on there, but it's fun to go back through and find some of those mistakes too. It gives you a chance to also tell you how well you know the set and the cards when you can find those mistakes. And Aaron knows the cards really well, so he finds those great. Our next segment's called Die versus Die. Too, there's a lot of differences between all of these cards. Like you said, there's over 1,000 cards,
Mhm.
too, and sometimes it doesn't come down to the text on the card. Sometimes you're trying to decide which die has the better die stats, and it's really going to depend on what's going to work for your team. And so we wanted to point out some differences to start with same characters, but that are found in different sets. And we're going to do a few of these, and we may start comparing characters to characters. So, like, why would you choose this character over that character? Especially if you have a blank text or if Zombie Magneto is going to wipe your card clean. Which die has the better stats if you suddenly had to just rely on your die stats and stuff, too? So, our first feature is going to be Hulk. And Hulk is found in Avengers versus X-Men. Aaron, what's this one from?
Age of Ultron.
Age of Ultron. And what's this one from?
The Amazing
The brand
Spider-Man.
new Amazing Spider-Man. There's a Hulk in each one of those, and they're a little different. One thing I want to point out is there's a little bit of difference between this one and these two in energy types. This Hulk is a fist. He's all about Hulk smash, and these two are both shields, and you can see the shields up there. He's the more defensive Hulk, as we'll see on his die stats. All right, Aaron, tell us a little bit about what's so special. I'm going to bring this up for everyone to see. If I can do this right now, I'm doing it wrong already. About the die stats for the Hulk here. Let's get the autofocus focus in, and that's not even working right. All right, it'll find it
Well,
here in a
I can
second.
explain it.
We'll get it to
So
close up. Go ahead. You
the
keep
very
explaining.
first level for Hulk is a 1/5 a 165 with an asterisk, because all of the AVX Hulks have an asterisk ability. Just like this one, Anger Issues. But it's a very good level 1 stat, especially for an expensive character.
165 is pretty good for level 1. There's not a lot of level 1 characters that get out like that. And then if we brought up the Age of Ultron card here.
And this is where things start to get disappointing.
So you're disappointed by the way this progresses. There we go. Now we've auto-focused in.
So as you can see, this is the more defensive Hulk, but also a really bad Hulk. Level 1 face is a 146. Extremely different from AVX.
So still a fielding cost of 1, but a lot.
2 defense weaker, 1 defense higher, though.
1 defense higher, 2 attack weaker, right?
Yes.
2 attack weaker, all right. And then something similar, I think, on level 1 here for the Amazing Spider-Man card, if we can get it to focus.
This one is +1 on each set for way better than Age of Ultron. Its level 1 is a 157.
There we go.
1 weaker than AVX Hulk, but 2 defense stronger than AVX Hulk.
So one of the things we're really kind of talking about the die stats here. It's worth noting that those die stats are clearly better than Age of Ultron, but I think the attack, all of the card features here, the abilities, are actually worse because it's so defensive, but it has to, all of its abilities trigger off of Aftershock. And Aftershock is this new mechanic from the Amazing Spider-Man that doesn't trigger until Hulk's knocked out by your opponent. And so it's going to be hard for them to generate enough force from a character to knock out your Hulk. They'll have to have some sort of special removal
especially your
to knock it out.
Defensive Hulk.
Especially your extra defensive Hulk. So those Aftershock things are almost a dare. Like, I dare you to knock out this Hulk. Because look, something bad's going to happen when you knock out this Hulk, too. But that's even hard to do.
Yeah, as long as you dare them, they probably still cannot do it.
So let's jump up, just so we can see it, up to the level 3 face for each of these cards. So here's back to our Anger Issues from, this also includes Jay Giant and Green Goliath from the Avengers vs. X-Men set. And we'll notice, boy, that is so hard to autofocus. All right, you can tell it's our first video cast here, but we're going to
fix this later.
All right.
Hopefully.
Yeah, we'll make it focus in post. There we go.
So
now it focused.
Basically, AVX Hulk. Back to it.
Tell me about level 3.
Level 3, 388. And level 2 is level 277.
Oh, you want to go back to level 2? See, I said we jumped to level 2. Level 2. All right. You want to cover all the faces. All right.
Yeah.
And so let's do 2 and 3 here for Age of Ultron. So
Age of Ultron is a 267. One attack weaker than AVX Hulk.
But just as strong on level 3, it looks like.
Yes.
A 388,
so
real similar.
Redeems itself a bit.
Yep. And then if we get up to
level
the
2,
level 2 and 3,
we're gonna have a dramatic entrance for level 3. So you might want, So level 2 is a 2.
All right, we're gonna try a little video trick here, and we're going to forget the autofocus, put us out of focus, and get in here on this card. Awesome, okay. There we go.
So a 268, same strength as Age of Ultron Hulk, but 1 defense higher than both of them.
And then what about that level 3 face?
379. Highest defense for any of the Hulks. Weakest level 3 face.
I wonder if it might even be worth it sometime to take that and flip that with the Ant-Man glow, and all of a sudden it's a 9 attack for your big bad Hulk there. If you're going to spend all that 3 fielding cost to get up there, plus this is a 7 cost, if you spend all that up there, you might want 9 attack out of that. Let's pull back, and so we're in focus. All right. And
talking about the Amazing Spider-Man Hulk, I was disappointed because all of them there was 2 7 costs for the Hulk and 1 8 cost, which is the super rare. But now he's getting harder to get out. There's a bunch of 7 cost Hulks in Age of Ultron, There's even an 8 cost in Age
So
of Ultron.
on die stats alone, if we weren't even looking at the cards, would you prefer the die card from the Amazing Spider-Man, Age of Ultron, or the original AVX Hulk? Just die stats alone, which one would you prefer?
Personally, I would definitely go for Amazing Spider-Man.
Wow,
If
you like that defensive thing
it
just
is
on die
very
stats alone.
defensive because
Put him out there and he's not going anywhere.
it's really hard for your character for any of your opponent's characters to get him out there.
So if you want that beast sitting out there that's just going to pummel the defenses until he can pummel through, that's actually a really good one. He's not going away. And if he does go away, he does something bad. Though it's hard to trigger that because he's so hard to go away. I think my preference still goes back for the consistency to the AVX set. But now let's talk about card abilities. Which set has the best card abilities? Now that we're
I would
talking,
have to say definitely
yeah,
AVX.
not even close. Green Goliath and
Green
Jade
Goliath
Giant
is ridiculous.
are
Plus
still the
Magic
best ones
Missile,
too. You
ping
can
it,
just ping them and
bam.
boom, boom, boom.
You
All
can
right,
ping him 3 times, and then your opponent's characters, if it's on a burst phase, take 9 damage. All of them. It's basically a sweep.
just wipes it out and then you just plow on through. All right,
Unless your opponent has to have the Winged Dragon at Ra.
all right. Well,
It'll just be hanging
that
down
might be
there.
a good topic to talk about in our tactics and strategy section. That we're going to talk about something else today. Let's think about how we might get around Hulk in a future tactics and strategy section. So next we're going to
Definitely.
move to tactics and strategy. What we'd like to do is just talk for a minute about some of the tactics and strategy that we're seeing out in the meta, or some of the things that we think are kind of interesting, and then talk just for a minute about some things you might do to counter some of those neat combos that we're seeing. But what if you like that first set of tactics and you realize there's a lot of people coming up with counters for it? How do you counter the counter? And so we want to see if we can do a little bit of tactics, the counter, and countering the counter. And first we want to talk about this week as the Guy Gardner rush that we're seeing a lot of too. It's starting to filter up through some of the PDC tournaments. We're hearing about that. It'll be interesting to see where Vulture from the Spider-Man set comes through. But right now, the hotness seems to be the Guy Gardner rush too. The biggest strategy I've seen with that is using big entrants early on, maybe round 1 or round 2. Well, it should be round 2 or round 3. You got to buy it round 1. You could use it round 2. If you buy it round 2, you can use it round 3. Makes those 2 costs Guy Gardner Blinding Rage down to a 1 cost character. If you roll 4 fists or some fists and question marks, boom, you might have 4 Guy Gardners all at once. And what's great about those Guy Gardners is they have to attack, but when they do attack, they get a boost for every other die you've got out there. That includes all the other Guy Gardners that have to attack. They boost each other. But what's great is if you have some sidekicks that just came up while you were trying to roll all that, they get to go out there, throw them into the attack. Those Guy Gardners are tougher because of them. And you can start punching through and punching through and punching through those Guy Gardners too. Before, maybe on turn 3, before your opponent's even ready, it's possible to do a turn 3 kill with that, combining it with maybe Miri, which lets you bring another dice out, maybe get some sidekicks out, get the Red Dragon Global to do a point of damage to your opponent just to get the big entrance in the first place. And you can swing for 19 on turn 3 and do a sweep to combine it with something like Relentless, and you can move their blockers away. But people are starting to realize this is a thing, and so we're starting to see some counters, aren't we? So a
Yes.
few things we've been pointed out as counters. Anything that's going to mess up the ability to attack. Distraction's probably the biggest one out there. Anything that makes it hard for you to field those Guy Gardners. Constantine Hellblazer makes it hard to get them out there and attack. Though I kind of like it when they use that Constantine Hellblazer against me. It kind of forces my Guy Gardner to sit there for a turn. If they can't remove it, I can maybe get another couple of Guy Gardners out the next round, or a couple of sidekicks out the next round. I don't mind having a pause button sometimes set by Hellblazer, but sometimes they use Lysa Drac, and that she makes me pay 2 life every time, that uncommon card, 2 life every time we bring out one of those Guy Gardners. I want to bring them out a lot too. So when my opponent parks Lysa Drac, it just says just assume she's going to be naming Guy Gardner every turn. I know I better try to go for the win quickly because otherwise I'm just going to be eating my life away trying to get that up there and going. Too. Zombie Magneto, the magnetic monster, makes all the Guy Gardner text go blank because it's a 3 cost or less. Especially that one's a 2 cost. Too. You can ping them away with magic missile. You can use the Venom rare to just kill him before he gets on the board on 2 out of his 3 faces. Too, if you get that Venom rare on the board, too, and the big one seems to be Mira, the from the no, that's War of Light.
Yes.
War of Light set. She's one of the Red Lantern Ring characters that has a global that lets you take anything where you're taking more than 5 damage, and Guy Gardner's often, punching through for 6 or 8 at a time for each dice you got out there, and each one of those can be knocked down to 2 damage. Now I gotta say, if you got 3 or 4 of those coming out, they have 4 masks to block to use the Mira Global there, too. You're still getting 8 damage through. That's still pretty good if they use Mira to try to ameliorate some of that. But the oh, I forgot what I was going to say about Mirror. Oh, but there's some counters to those counters, too. Anything like distraction. Oh, Magic Missile can just ping away your Guy Garners. They've got 2 health on 2 faces, too. You can use Doom Caliber Knight Fiendish Fighter when you attack. It's not going to help you if they're trying to ping him off with Magic Missile during your main step. So instead, using the Paladin Lesser Emerald Enclave and using his ability to stop those globals from hitting him, your characters on the board might be helpful to counter the counter there, too. And I think for things like Mira, the Venom Rare, the Zombie Magneto, Lysidrak, Hellblazer, sometimes a well-timed prismatic spray might go through, blank all their cards long enough for you to come through with a big hit with Guy Gardner, too. So there's counters to the counters to the counters, and to be honest, there's counters to those too. So this is what's so fun about this game. It's hard to plan for all of that. You only get 8 cards and your 2 basic action cards, and so it's fun to kind of see that. So I think maybe we got to think about some counters to the counters to the counters for Hulk next time, especially Green Goliath. He seems tough. So that may be what we talk about next time. We'll take a look at that. And for our last segment, we're going to talk about
top 3 Marvel zombies.
So we'd like to feature maybe a top 3 in each of these segments, and some of the things we do this all the time. What do you think is your favorite one of this? What's your favorite one of that? What are your top 5 of this, top 3 of that? And so we thought we'd talk to you about some of the things we talk about. In this case, it's going to be our top 3 Marvel zombies. So we each made our own list independently. Got a lot of crossover here, too. There's only one of these that we differ on, too. So we'd like to show you some of these. So Aaron, this is both of ours, our number 3 here. Tell everybody what this is. I'm going to zoom out. We'll get out of focus. Tell everybody what this is.
We have for my number 3 is Gladiator Intergalactic Terror.
Oh, here, let's put him. There he is. Gladiator Intergalactic Terror. What a scary face. Zombie. When fielded, KO other non-zombie gladiators. Now, we have some non-zombie gladiators in this Spider-Man set. While active, Gladiator gets +2 attack and +2 defense for each of your other active mass characters. And just in case you're thinking about Phoenix out on the board, they would lose their abilities, too. As most of the zombies have some decent dice stats, especially get up that level 3 face. He's at 376, too. You can only have one of those dice out there at one time, too. And this was my number 3 also. So why do you like this, Aaron?
I like it because it's a good tactic if you're going with a masked team, like 1-cost morphing jars or storms.
Beast. There's some good beasts.
Oh,
so
yes.
if you have some low cost mass characters, can get them out, Gladiator becomes a beast. So it's a real situational for those times.
Mm-hmm.
Throw maybe a Dimension Door or the new Silver Sable in there, and all of a sudden you've got an unblockable beast coming through. Too. So that would be a good one. I like that one too. Pretty easy to pump him up with a little bit of planning. All right, we have some difference of opinion on our number 2. So Aaron, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is
all the way up there.
Venom Staggering Symbiote.
Yikes, that guy's creepy looking. So tell us what he does there.
When fielded, KO all When fielded, KO all non-zombie Venom dice. When zombie Venom attacks, you may pay 1 to force target character to block. Spider-Man must block Zombie Venom if able.
And some more decent stats there. Now he's a little easier to field. 154, 155, 276. That's not bad. Still only one dice, and he costs a lot. They all cost a lot. Six, even to get out there in the first place. Six masks to get out there in the first place. Too. So why do you like him?
Mostly because he's a pretty good beast. Great dice stats, even compared to Gladiator. Same level 3 face, except Venom is one fielding cost less.
So let me tell you. Oh, go ahead. You still.
I don't know.
You like
If
that
you
ability
like,
where you can pay one and make somebody block?
yes. Let's say if your opponent has a glass cannon out but you just can't get him out because you have a lot of defensive guys. You can just make him
Stick him out there
though
and force the other guy to
yeah,
block and crash his shatter his glass cannon.
basically.
Good removal, and you gotta have some pretty high defenses to be able to stop that from happening. So my number two was Green Goblin Rotting Zombie. Rotting Goblin. It's one of the zombies here, and I'm going to show you this on my phone because we actually don't have this card yet, too. Let me zoom you in here. There we go. Um, when fielded, KO all non-zombie Green Goblin dice. That might help a little bit. Deal 1 damage to all opponents for each sidekick in their field zone.
Just like Gabi.
Just like Gabi might. Now, Gabi's ultimately going to be better than this because, again, you can only have one die on this, and you can have 4 Gabi circling through. But, boy, that's not a bad thing when you got Gabi up there. If you can just kind of clear him out. It'd be nice if it sent him to used. Unfortunately, it KOs him, which means he gets to go and maybe get refielded again, trigger another Gabi round. I like it as a way to counter out those flying sidekick teams, too. If you can knock out the flying sidekicks with this and not have to worry about, well, you're not knocking them out, you're actually doing direct damage to your opponent when they're sitting out there with all those tough sidekicks. Too. One of the big things I've seen opponents do is get out there with their sidekicks, make them invulnerable to damage. They get that Wonder Woman out there with another Justice League character, and all of a sudden they're unblockable to damage. That's okay. They can sit right there, and all of a sudden my rotting goblin is doing damage to them just because they've got them parked there. So I kind of like that. But I think we both agree there's only one card that stands above all other 8 of the Marvel Zombies as clearly the top number 1. This is the number 1 on both of our lists, too. And not going to be surprised to anybody who's seen these cards before. Aaron, which one is this one?
Magneto Magnetic Monster.
Magneto Magnetic Monster. I want to zoom him in here a little bit.
When Age of Ultron previews came out, people thought this thing was a beast, and they were right. Zombie. When fielded, KO all non-zombie Magnetos.
And to be honest, it hasn't been real fun fielding many Magnetos before now. This has been the one to field, but
while active, opposing characters with purchase cost 3 or lower lose their abilities. Professor X can't be fielded.
Oh no! What if I wanted to field Professor X? Can't do it with this
horror!
Guy. Anyway, the big one is there. They just lose their abilities. So
Anti-Gabi, Anti-Constantine, Anti-Serena.
Anti-Guy Gardner. Yeah, we mentioned him earlier. Decent dice stats. He's a little more defensive, but that's actually nice. You can just leave him parked there, and all of a sudden those 3 console extra characters, the Wasp Global not the Wasp Global, but the Wasp character that costs you life every time, does damage to you every time you spend a global, no longer matters if you've got that out there, too. So force your opponent to use those more expensive characters. They might not have those field in time, especially if that other team has a strategy using those small characters. This can be really good for making that happen. So this is our favorite zombie Magneto. This is Magneto Magnetic Monster. We always want to call them like Zombie Magneto and Zombie Venom. It actually doesn't have that, which is important because since its name is Magneto, you can't have any of the other Magneto cards out there.
You can have Hal Jordan and Green Lantern.
You can, but you can't have two different Magneto, Zombie Magneto and one of the others.
It's hilarious to have
Hal Jordan, Green Lantern, and Green Lantern, Hal Jordan.
Yes, on the same team. Because it's still
technically legal. All right. Well, that's going to wrap us up for our first episode. We thank you guys for letting us talk to you about some of the things we like to talk about. Please put some comments down there on YouTube. We're going to have a Facebook page. It's called From the Field Zone. If you can find us there and talk to us a little bit about some of the things that you like to play about Dice Masters, how this game impacts you in your life, and maybe have some fun talking to us about it. If we can get some comments back, we'd actually like to feature them on future episodes, and maybe answer any questions you guys might have. Let you know some of our thoughts about it too. I wanted to point out something. I don't know if you guys noticed this or not, but I'm older than he is, too. It's probably the beard, and that's how you can tell, because I've been old enough to grow a beard. I was doing the math the other day in the car, and I won't tell you how old I am. I will tell you that Aaron is 11, and I found out I am 4 times older than him, which just kind of blew me away the other day, too. So that won't. I don't think they'll ever exist any time again in our relationship, too. So you're a quarter of my age. You've got 3 more lifetimes to
And,
go of Dice
oh
Masters
yeah, that
experience
won't
before you.
actually happen. That's
And
nice.
but
Unless
this
unless when I'm 12 you skip
I could skip a few
maybe
years.
4 years
I'm not gonna skip a
into
few
the
years.
future.
I'm gonna stay this old. All right, thanks guys. We'll talk to you later. This is Jason,
And Aaron.
and we're from the Field Zone.